Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Just gonna wait and see if anyone else comes on. Good morning, Carrie. Hi, Meg. Good morning, Mrs. Bishop. How is everyone? Did you have a good weekend? Anything exciting happen? Good morning. Jesse's having a dream right behind me, so I can hear her going. I always wonder what they're dreaming about, you know? Part of me wants to use all 6, but I think I'm going to have to do 3. Robin says hi. Meg says she's tired. Oh, dear. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we are going to do these holly leaf looking ones. So we've got one here. We've got one up in this on the right hand. I was going to say corner, but there's no corners to this. So obviously on the right. And there's one just under here that you can't really see. So what I'm going to do is, good morning, Helen. Do one for you, completed completely. And then you can do the other 2 on your own. Did you have a good weekend, Helen? Did you do anything fun? So I'm going to use 3 strands, even though I really want to use 6 because I know that it takes up a bit more space, but I don't want it to look chunky. So I want it to look a little bit delicate. I'm going to use 3 strands of this green color. It's not a dark green. It looks much darker on the screen than it actually is. That's like a pretty true color. It's kind of like a true green, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. And then I always show like my little cheat sheet for satin stitch. So we're going to do satin stitch, one on this side, one on this side, and it's going to go down kind of into a little V. Grammarly, piss off. Ugh. Helen, it was so amazing. Helen said, how was The Lion King? It was fantastic. Like the very first opening scene when they sang the Circle of Life song, it was so beautiful. I literally cried. Just like the first, it's only like 5 minutes, the song. And all of the animals were there and like the sun came up and everything. Oh my God, it was incredible. Bawling my eyes out. Hi, George. We're just talking about The Lion King and how I cried like the very first 5 minutes. Right, so I've got my 3 strands here. We're going to do this one. But this is what I always do for satin stitch. And if you've, that's my fault, giving you a bit of a whiplash there. So what I always do is kind of my cheat for satin stitch, because the biggest problem with satin stitch is people say that they can't keep the lines kind of parallel, if you know what I mean. And they have a hard time kind of seeing where the stitches are going to go next. So my biggest cheat for this is to draw the lines on. And you can use a ruler if you want to. I just eyeball it. First, you have to decide kind of how steep of an angle do you want it. Do you want it to go like super deep? If so, you might have a little bit of problems, especially with these curves like this. Do you want it to go straight across? You can do that as well. And then later we're going to couch this curve here with maybe a different color, maybe the same color. It's totally up to you. So what I like to do is kind of just do like a really shallow V. For some reason, I can't see these very well on the video. You can make as many or as few lines as you want. You just want them to all be kind of parallel to each other. And that will help you to keep your stitches all in line. So I'll do the other side as well. Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. So I've got a little knot on the end. Someone else asked on a question on YouTube, and they said that they're a little bit confused when I say 2 or 3 strands. What do I mean? So the way I set up my needle is I put one end through the eye here, yeah, and I leave a little tail, and the tail is normally about that long, yeah. So if I'm holding the needle there, down to there, not a long one. And then the other end, I have a knot. Now, some people like to fold over their thread, meaning that they enclose the needle in the knot. So apologies for some of you who are like, just get started already. But I do have to answer the questions. So some people will take both of these sides like this and make a knot at the very, very end. And then their needle actually can't get out because it's completely enclosed in a loop. Yeah, so it's double. So actually it's 3 strands and 3 strands. So this would be 6 strands. Yeah. So the way that I do it is I just choose however many strands and use just that many. I don't fold it over. So I've taken 3 strands out and I'm just going to use the 3 strands how it is. Yeah. The other thing that I've seen people do but also have a bit of trouble on is their hoops are not very tight. So you want this fabric in here to be really, really nice and tight. And if you see wrinkles in it, or if you see that it's not tight, if you're tapping it and it's not making a sound like that, you need to take it and pull this fabric around the hoop and tighten the top and pull it again and tighten the top. It should make that sound. So you shouldn't see any kind of ripples in your fabric or little loose bits or anything like that. Really, if you don't have a tight hoop, you're going to have a bad time. You're going to be fighting with it the entire time, fighting with the fabric, fighting with the thread. And the tighter that you make your stitches, the more that your fabric is going to bunch up, which means that it's never going to lay flat again. So keep that in mind just before we get started. And I'm going to do it now. Let's go. Zoom her in so you guys can see. I didn't have breakfast yet, so my stomach is like making noises. Okay, with this satin stitch, you can start anywhere. So I like to start at the points, one of the points, just pick one, and then work my way up or down, depending on which one. So I'll just start here. You're just going to come up on one side and go down in the middle. Yeah? Easy peasy. And then, so the outside edge, you're going to follow the shape of the leaf. We're not doing an outline on the outside of the leaf. So you want to keep your stitches nice and neat and tidy on the outside. And we just go like this. I know some people will do one side then the other, like a V, like that. You can do that. You can do the thread saver method, which I've shown before, which is kind of instead of going up on one side, down on the other, you go up on one side and then back down on the other and then back up on the same side. So like this. And then you come back up here. So you'll be saving the thread on the back. That was my can. It really just depends on what you are comfortable with. Some people do it one way, and that's the only way that they can make it look right, and that's the only way that they can do it. That's fine. I actually didn't bring any stitching to London with me. I just explored the city, read a book. That's it. Now, don't be tempted to just put the needle straight down to the bottom to finish it. Keep your lines parallel, and you might have to make a couple little stitches here, and that's okay. Better to have the little stitches and have a really nice shape down here. I did leave the plant at George's, so if you were following my Instagram, at the train station when we got off at Marylebone, I bought George a plant as a little gift. And when I gave it to him, he was like, thank you, I think. So I said, if you don't want it, I'll take it back home with me. And I left it there with him. He was really excited to have a little thing to take care of. Well, I wouldn't say really excited, but he kept the plant. This is where I normally regret three strands, because I'm like, oh, it's so, like I want it to take the threads to take up more space so I don't have to do so many stitches. There's actually a little white sliver right there. I need to go back and put another stitch there. Satin stitch with three strands is like, it is the perfect amount of strands because it's not too chunky. They all kind of like go together, if you know what I mean. Like says, I love satin stitch with 3 strands. I do like it, but then about halfway through, I'm like, oh, can we just be done already? I think it's just because you don't see the progress being made like as quickly as you would with more strands. And like I said, the middle, let me see if I can zoom in this more or something. Nope. Sorry, guys. I wish that the screen had like the same color as what I can see. It's just a bit dark. Meg says she's currently using two strands on a present, and it's really time consuming. It is. Then you get those like really nice fine lines, and you can put so much detail in it. I bet you it looks really good. Okay, this is another area where you might be tempted to skip some of the little mini stitches because you think it's just a little bitty space, it's fine, don't do it. Keep your lines parallel and go all the way to the very end. Can I make it? These will be covered up later anyways. I made this one a little bit too skinny, I think. Oh my God. Okay, and now we do the other side. I wonder if I close this curtain, if it will make the colors a little bit better. Is that any better? Actually, yeah. It is. So just in front of me, there's a big curtain there. Can you see it? So I've just put it down. And we'll try that. Maybe that will be our new setup. Did I make you guys sick doing that? I hope not. Have a great day. Monday. All right, and like I said, I like to start with the points. For some reason, it's just easier for me because starting with these little stitches, it'll be really easy to be led astray, if you know what I mean. Carrie says, I still haven't finished the February stitch along. The bicycle? The bicycle one. You're kidding. That's all right. Mag, you haven't finished the bicycle either? The bicycle? What happened? You've done like all the other stitch-alongs, Meg. Carrie said life happened. Yeah, I feel that. Last year I started, I like made a little tablecloth runner. Just like it goes down like the middle of the table. And I just wrote like give thanks or something on it. And then I had everyone who came to Thanksgiving that year sign it. And in my mind, I was like, oh, I've got a whole year to embroider it before next year. And I still haven't done that. So that's going to be my evening project to embroider everyone's names from last year's Thanksgiving in one color so that I can do it again this year and have everyone sign again. Mike said it's the summer one that she hasn't finished. And that's going to be a New Year's resolution, maybe. Yeah, the summer one was the greenhouse one, wasn't it? Carrie said, I can't believe it's your birthday already. My birthday or Meg's birthday? I actually don't know when Meg's birthday is. My birthday was in October. October 17th. And then we went to, my birthday present was going to see The Lion King in London. So we stayed with our friend George, who always comes to say hi on here. And then leaves because he's meant to be doing work. So we stayed with him, and then we went to go see The Lion King the 29th of December. I'm glad I didn't miss it. So if you notice, I tend to do a couple stitches forward and then go back and fill them in if I need to. That's totally fine as well. I kind of find that one side of my leaf is a little bit better than the other. So I'm more comfortable doing this side than I am doing this side. So I should like turn it upside down or something, but I'm practicing. I don't know what it is, like the angle of it or something. Hopefully you'll be in your new house by then, Meg, by your birthday. And I'm almost out of thread because I'm not thread saving at all. I also had a couple of people ask again how did I do that last time? Put something dark on there, didn't I? And it like helped to make it lighter or something. Ooh, yeah. So yeah, you can see the stitches better that way. I also had somebody ask again about tying the back. So I'll just say that one more time because I have to do it anyways. I either make a loop like this, yeah, and then use my needle to push the knot all the way down, or I separate them. Obviously I have 3 strands now, so it'll be 2 in 1, and you just do a double knot like that and like that, and then I just chop them shorter. Easy peasy, nothing crazy. Okay, so we almost have this leaf done, and then I'll show you how to do the couching. Some people really like couching, some people don't like it because it's a bit fiddly, but this should be okay. Meg says, I think I will make finishing all my uncompleted embroidery. I've got this year's revolution. Hopefully we've had more activity on that front, so fingers crossed. She means hopefully we'll be in their new house by her birthday. Or maybe by Christmas. Wouldn't that be lovely? Christmas. We are going to the States for Christmas. So everyone in my family will be together. So I think that'll be nice. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say was that when you all reply to my videos, like on the live videos, when you re-watch it later, I don't know what part you're replying to. So a couple of times I've gotten, well, a lot of times I've gotten some messages that are like, oh yeah, me too. And I'm like, it just shows a video. It just shows like my video, like my live video, and then your comment. So it doesn't actually say like what you're replying to. So keep that in mind if you're watching the lives as a replay and you want to get involved and leave some comments. I love them all, but sometimes I'm like, yeah, great, but I don't know what you're replying to because it doesn't show me like what minute in the video that it is. It just shows you saying whatever comment you want to add. So apologies if I don't say anything. Oh. Mike says that would be lovely to, I'm assuming, 1, be in her new house for Christmas, and 2, have me and my family all be together for Christmas. So 2 lovely things, I think. Helen says, how is Jessie? She is good. We have her on a new food. The vet says that they think that she's just had an allergic reaction to the food that she's normally had. And the vet said that it's super common, and that sometimes the company will change the recipe just a little bit, even just a little bit, and that can be enough to upset their stomachs. So we've got a new food for her. And actually, it was meant to go to my mother-in-law's house because obviously we were gone this weekend in London. So we got it delivered to her house and it never came. So poor Carol had to go all around town trying to find this one specific dog food that she can have that doesn't make her throw up. Ugh. So I'm going to have a chat to Amazon today. Okay, so that is it for this one, meaning the satin stitch. And then we will do some couching. So let me just change the color because I'm going to use, you can use the same color if you want to. And all the couching is going to do is make a continuous line down here. I almost want to put this on there like all the time so you can see the stitches. It's going to make a continuous line down here so that you can't see the middle of those stitches there. So if you wanted to, you could do it with the same color. You just won't be able to see it so much. So I'm going to use just like a shade lighter. You do not need very much. I'm going to use 3 strands because that's how many that we had for the satin stitch. And you don't want to have the middle to be like a really, really big line, like a really kind of thick line down the middle. So I'm going to use 3 strands. And then you also need, got a knot. And then you also need another bit to couch it down with. So couching is really just laying it down and then using another thread to make small stitches over the stitches that you've just done. Maybe that's better. Yeah, to make small stitches over this right here to tack it down. Yeah? So I'm actually going to use 3 of these, and then for the couching, I'm going to use just one strand. Carrie says, does your family live at that lake house that you visited in the States? That was such a pretty place. So we don't live there all the time. Just, it isn't an all year round house, if you know what I mean. So it's not like a trailer or something like that. We used to have a trailer home that was there, and it was just like a seasonal house. But now we've moved across the lake to the other side where the houses are open year round and you can live in them whenever you want. So in the other one, the water would get turned off and the pipes would freeze. So you needed to, like, you couldn't stay there. So what I'm going to do is you go up from the bottom like this. Standby Stitching says, you've just been shouted out on the Bad Bitches Facebook group. I know. Again? I know Just did a little post about it yesterday. It like totally made my night. So what you're going to do is come up from the bottom. If you want to have a longer like stem here, you can make it go longer if you want to. But you don't have to, obviously. Okay? And then you're going to leave that there. So I know in the stitch alongs before, we went down at the end, and then we can like kind of move it along. But what I'm going to do is leave that there. You can take your needle out, or you can use a different needle. I'm just going to use a different one so I can leave it there. Then thread your other needle. So I'm just going to say again, for the middle, right here, I've used 3 strands. And then for the couching part, just 1. So you're going to make another little knot like this. Okay, and then you're just going to follow. So if you remember, this right here was a curved line. You're just going to lay it over top and follow the curve of the leaf. And we're just going to make little stitches along the way. And you don't need a lot. You're just going to kind of tack it into place. Meg says, I would love to live near a lake and a countryside. So you don't want them super close because otherwise we could have just done a back stitch. Yeah? And then, but you do want them a little bit closer than the other one that we did, was because this one is a curved line. So you want to make sure, just like in these, the C or the H, like I said, you want to make sure that your stitches are a little bit smaller so that, sorry, I'm trying to concentrate. You want to make sure that they're a little bit smaller because you don't want them to be jaggedy, like a geometric looking almost. So if you notice, I'm just laying this thread on top and just tacking it down every little bit. Let's see, I've just missed a comment, hold on. Standby Stitching says, yes, again, a lot of bad bitches want in on this stunning pattern. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to check when I get off this. She says, I've been off the sewing radar for a little while. Life has been too busy, but my God, I am needing to get this started. Oh, I hope you do. Meg says, do it. Meg is so lovely. So the reason I chose one strand is because we really don't want to see the tacks, these little couching things. We don't want to see them like so well. We more want to see just one line. So this is normally, if I was a teacher, I would ask things like, what other stitches could we use to make the effect of having just one line and not a bunch of little stitches? And by now, you should know at least one, because we did it last week. Maybe I should do an embroidery quiz. Standby Stitching says, is there subtle Christmas music in the background? Yes, ma'am, there is. Okay, so this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So what we need to do is, because we've couched it all down, yeah, but we still have this dangling thing here. We don't want to go all the way to the end and couch it to the end, because actually we want to go back down into the fabric, just like we did at the beginning. So I'm just going to thread this needle again because the needle fell off. Yeah? And you're just going to put it down right at the very end there. And that's it. That's all you need to do. So Carrie says, I didn't see last week's, but what does stem stitch work? So yes, a stem stitch would work. It makes it have like a rope type effect. Last week we did the whipped back stitch. And that also makes it look like it's just one kind of strand. Not strand, but one, all the stitches are united. I'm just going to zoom out so you can have a look. On the back, you should have two pieces of string out like this. So you have the 3 strands for the middle part, and then you should have the 1 strand that we did for the couching. Or for the tacking. I'm sure someone's going to say, oh my goodness, you're saying it all wrong. There we go. So we just tie off each one. And that's one leaf finished. Don't worry if you don't have enough time to do both of these. I know I've just taken about 30 minutes to do this one because one I've been talking. Yeah, one I've been talking, and it does take a little bit of time. So we will have a catch-up day. So the catch-up day is normally, for the long stitch-alongs, I normally do one kind of in the middle. So it will probably be either Thursday or Friday. We'll have a catch-up day where we can catch up on all of the stitching that we've done. I'll still go live, and I will also be catching up because obviously I've not done all of my work. So you'll still get a live that day. Maybe it'll be Thursday, but it'll be like a nighttime one so people in the States can see some stitching as well. They can ask questions and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a good idea. Thursday. We'll do a catch-up day then. So if you only want to do one today, that's fine. Like I said before, there are 3 of these leaves. Go away. I'm trying to put this on there so it will brighten up the screen and then you can see the stitches better. I'm not crazy. So yeah, this is what we have so far. We'll do this one and we'll do this one the exact same way. So make your lines on there, couch down the middle, you'll be good. So yeah, if you have any questions, send me a message. I'll be around most of the day today, filling orders, lots of kits, lots of the Joy kit. There's only a couple left. I think there's only 2 left on the website. So if you would like a Joy kit, I only wanted to make 10 for now so I could save some for the markets that are just in 2 weeks. So I've got 3 markets. They're all back to back, 4 days in total. So yeah, I might have to just go get more thread because you guys are buying all the kits. So yeah, if you've got questions, let me know. Post your progress and hashtag #TheBarmyFoxSAL. Make sure you tag me so I can see it. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.